It's one machine and it does so many things. Hey, John Garancheski, Tattoo Heart Studios here in Maryland. I've been tattooing for about 20 years. I've used a lot of tattoo machines. I was excited to get my hand on the PEAK Solice Pro. I did a first impression, used it for a few weeks on a bunch of different projects, and I'm gonna fill you in on what I think about it. Taking the machine from my initial first impressions and then using it on skin was exactly what I wanted it to be like. I popped my cartridge in, I started my line for my tattoo, and I was able to adjust it the way that I wanted it to. It's really nice to have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tattoo machines in one. With my style, I do finer line, kind of really small detail stuff. I do color packing, do dot work. All of those require a little bit of a different technique. I was able to adjust the machine and make the machine work almost better than I have with my other machine, just because there is so much nuance in the stroke and everything. Usually I'll have a couple different machines set up for any given tattoo. One machine set up for my smaller liners and configurations, another machine set up for my thicker liners and like larger mags where I want to be able to pack color. It minimizes the setup, minimizes the transition time if I just want to change out a cartridge. At first, I didn't play around with it as much. I wanted to kind of put it on a familiar setting. If I'm going to set this thing to the stroke length that I'm used to using and the voltage, how does that work? And then once I got comfortable, then I was able to kind of play around with it a little bit. With my larger mag stuff, I kind of got a little bit more experimental with it and played around with turning this thing the whole way down to like a 2.4 stroke, and I found that I was able to get really smooth blends with it where I wanted to really just kind of feather the transition of a shade. Overall, I love the machine. The only thing, there's two things. The battery life on it isn't quite what I would really want out of just one battery. I'm using this at around 8.5 volts. When I'm working with one client a day. We're working on big pieces. I want my machine to be able to last for a whole session without having to mess with it. I found that this was dying, depending on how hard I was running the machine, about 5.5 to 6 hours, which is a long time to be tattooing. Sometimes I'm doing 8-hour sessions. It would be nice to see an easy, upgrade when you purchase it to get 2 batteries. If your battery runs out, you can pop off the battery here and you can put on this RCA adapter. You can still use the machine. This second thing, because my machine was bagged up, there was a little bit of a challenge to change primarily the stroke. Some of us who have been tattooing for a while, we got old tattoo hands, and so some people have mobility things that might prevent them from being able to get a good grip on that. On the next iteration of the machine, maybe that could be an upgrade, just to make it a little bit friendlier to kind of handle and change. Is that a deal breaker? No. Does it take that long to change? No. It doesn't take any longer than changing out an entirely different machine. It's actually pretty quick once you get the hang of it. It was actually an easier process to wrap this machine than I have with my other machines that I've been using for a while. I use the wrap that I get from Painful. I just take the clipcord cover, put it over that, and then I wrapped the top with a non-adherent wrap and wrapped it as tight as I could to the top here. So I had a nice grip at the top here. The rest of this was covered. And yeah, you can see right through it. It's pretty easy to adjust and everything on the fly. I left enough of an overhang back here so that I could kind of fold the wrap over it so that I could easily adjust the stuff on the back here without contaminating the machines. I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. The big things that I really like about this is just that it does have so much adjustability. Again, a big fan of wireless, just because it gets rid of extra things that could snag. It gets rid of extra things that could become cross-contaminated. It just feels a little bit more free, and it feels, I don't know, more fun to tattoo with it. For somebody who's looking to get into using a pen machine, this would be what I would recommend over anything else that I've used up to this point. If you're using different needle configurations, if you're using smaller, tighter stuff and then larger mags, and you want the freedom to adjust and you don't want to have to buy a bunch of different machines, then this is a pretty good solution. It's pretty rad.